There we are. Hi. Wow. Welcome to Live with Ms. Steph. Things happen, people. But we were trying to go live for some time now. And I'm so glad that we are finally on. Just know that I am appreciative of you for tuning in to Live with Ms. Steph. My name is Stephanie E. Farmer, founder and executive director of Triple F Empowerment Inc. This is your Science Club news and your point to get your opportunity to get some information about Science Club as well as get information about today's activity. Did you know that you can take 2 plastic bottles, okay, some water, some glitter, and this nifty difty tube and make a tornado? Well, guess what? That is today's science project. Let's make a tornado. That's what we'll be doing later in the video. So make sure that you stay tuned to make sure that you're getting all of this fantastic science news and information. Let's hop right into the news. This coming Saturday, as in less than 48 hours away from right now, there will be no Saturday Science Club. It is 4th Saturday. I'm inviting everybody to make sure they're enjoying rest and the sun in some type of way. Let's check the weather really quickly. Shall we together check the weather? Expectations, because weather can change. Fun fact, I hung out with a dear friend. Hi, friend. If you're watching, you know who you are, especially based on this story with the dear friend this past Saturday, April 19th in the morning. And those of y'all who have been following me and watching know that on April 19th, we did hopping in or around Harlem, depending on which flyer you saw. And we had a great time. We passed out slime to over 50 some odd children and showed kids some fun things. And you also know that it was super warm enough to the point to where towards the end, I was telling children not to play with their slime because when it gets too hot outside or in whatever environment you are in or outdoors, playing with slime becomes a very a high level challenge, and you need to be at like expert level slime person to be able to play with slime in a hot environment. Okay. I say that with all seriousness. That's not a joke. I'm very serious. You need to be high level expert slime person to be able to navigate slime in a warm environment because it essentially will start to revert back to its primary ingredient, which is glue, and you will get a sticky mess instead of a fun, squishy, exciting experience, right? So that being said, I'm hanging out with my friend on the 19th in the morning. We left out and I was like, it's supposed to be like 80 degrees. It should be fine. Meanwhile, said friend is like, you sure it's not gonna rain? I'm like, no, like it's not supposed to rain. I checked the weather. BT dubs, I do believe in checking the weather. This story is not about discouraging you. This story is just about the reality of how the weather works and how predictions are, right? So, this coming Saturday, at this point in time, the prediction of what the state of the atmosphere, by the way, that's what weather is, and our tornado activity has us right on theme. Okay. So weather is the current, right? The current weather is the current state of the atmosphere, how much water is in the sky that needs to be released, the temperature, the wind, all that type of stuff. That's what the weather is. And weather predictions are predictions of what the state of the atmosphere will be at certain times. Okay. And so I was like, no, it should be fine. Ciao. Why did we get outside? And all of a sudden it was like, so we were finishing said errand and it was like, fine, but it cooled off. It was chilly for a moment. But then by the time I got it, and it rained 2 seconds, and then like we walked And by the time I got back here to pick up materials to go out to the hopping around Harlem event, it was fine. And then all of a sudden it was hot. Well, not sudden, but it developed into a warm atmosphere, an atmosphere that had released all the rain that it needed to, and it definitely was not releasing any water in the form of precipitation at that point in time. So yeah, check the weather. Be advised to still kind of be prepared for certain things depending on where you are at. So the weather for this coming Saturday, I'm encouraging you to hang out and enjoy, but just know that right now the folks who deal in that type of science, which it is a science, meteorologist, study and look at certain prediction models to be able to, it's quite a bit of math, to be able to predict what will likely happen. All right. And so we're looking at 89% rain. And by the way, that percentage is the amount of area in a location that will get rain that day. It's not necessarily how likely it will rain or, yeah. So folks are often kind of mixed up when it comes to what the rain percentage is. Okay. Just be advised. So anywho, had a good time on Saturday. Shout out to Coach T and I know I've shouted them out before, but I see no reason why not to say it one more time. And folks at the Harlem Rise Collective, we had a great time. And I do believe that they were in partnership with, I don't want to say the name because I just want to be careful with that, but a relatively famous congregation for the Easter egg hunt that happened before I got there. I was not a part of that. I was a part of the science shenanigans. As you know, we make science fun. Yeah, so this coming Saturday, as I've been saying and sharing, I've shared it in a lot of places. And please make sure that you feel free to spread the word. We do not have club this coming Saturday, which is April 26th. I shall be enjoying some kind of just personal relax time. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the 26th. May 3rd and May 10th, we will have Saturday Science Club as per usual. On May, I'm going to back up a little bit. On May 1st, Team Mouse, I'll be there. I'll see you. If you know, you know. Okay. There is a wellness fair that particular school has invited me to do some things for. And you know, I'll be there with my science fun table on May 1st for the Team Mouse community. And on May 17th for the Saturday Science Club community, so that we can wrap up our Saturday Science Fun together as a group, we're going to meet in a play area. One of my favorite New York City parks, one of my favorite parks in Harlem is Morningside Park. We'll be there. Meet us at the 116th Street play area. It's a very nice playground. We will be enjoying the play equipment. That's most of the activity. If you desire to bring a snack to share with other families, you're welcome to do so. It's not my current intention to bring snacks. It's my intention to bring some science fun things that will be park friendly. All right. And that will be our culmination of our Saturday Science Fun. Again, May 10th is the last Saturday Science Club meeting at Wadley until October, actually. And on May 17th, we will gather together to have a great time. All right. Thank you for watching Live with Ms. Steph. I see we've got some folks on. Y'all, I'm super excited. Remember to put into the comments your favorite science club activity. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and hop right in because I do have a meeting around 5:30. Former students, FYI, just be advised, you can send me an email if you are one of my former students and you need some help with like a science project or you have questions. Feel free to reach out and we can kind of just discuss how that works, but you send me an email is the best way to get started. So these two bottles, no, this is not the water that came in these bottles. And no, this is not sponsored by this company. Okay. I do not believe in using filtered or specialized purchased water for these types of activities. I believe in reusing these bottles. Did I take the labels off? No, I didn't. Can you take the labels off? Sure, you can. Okay. So let's see how that works to start off with. Okay. Just know that you're going to be left with kind of a sticky outer layer inside of this bottle. I already have, because I've already used these. You know how I am. I've already used these in 2 classes this week, and I'll use them tomorrow when I talk about extreme weather and natural disasters, which, by the way, keep in mind, extreme weather and natural disasters are not the same type of thing. Extreme weather is weather, as we've just discussed. We discussed that weather is the state of the atmosphere at a given moment in time. Climate is the atmospheric patterns over a significant amount of time, 30 or more years, by the way. So the type of climate, like when you say a place is a tropical climate, that is based off of a rain and temperature analysis pattern over 30 plus years. Okay. So climate is the pattern of weather over a significant amount of time. And weather is what's happening in the atmosphere right now, or predicted to happen in the atmosphere over the next, say, couple of days. All right. So this is one bottle. You already see that the debris, I'm using the glitter to depict debris. So I have water, room temperature water, and glitter to depict the debris. This tube I ordered online. I do know that there are various vendors. I did not use I didn't use a name brand. Wow. A name brand vendor in this particular instance. So I have water and glitter. I would not fill up the water all the way. My experience has not been the one that it's necessary, or 2 that it goes well. Okay. Additionally, you see how it's not a lot of, it's less than a teaspoon of glitter, because again, you don't need all that much. A tornado, right, is high wind that form a cyclone. Okay. Drop in the comments below different names. We can work together and teach each other together different names of extreme weather. Again, extreme weather is extreme states of the atmosphere. Okay. You see it? Isn't that cool? Okay. So if you were to just simply connect these 2 bottles, it would not necessarily do that. This special tube, and I ordered them online for like $9 for 12. It's not an expensive device. And I'm reusing bottles that I have. I have used it just to kind of go into some tips, right? Tips and tricks, because y'all know I'm here to make sure that everybody knows how to do this. It's not about gatekeeping in any way. Okay. So when it comes to creating your tornado tube or your tornado in a bottle, because we know that this is a model, a depiction of a tornado, not an actual tornado, because actual tornadoes are wind, okay, are made up of wind. But the water, because water is such a powerful and such an amazing chemical, liquid water can help us depict the spinning action. The tube that I've shown you, okay, helps create the cyclone-like image, okay? not image, but cyclone situation. You spin it around, spin, 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 and it comes down. So you notice how towards the bottom, towards the end of the spinning and the moving from one bottle to the other is where you get the best depiction of the um, tornado-like view, right? Now, next thing I'm going to do is add some oil because I want to see there. I follow Steve Spangler. For those of you who don't know, he's a relatively famous science educator here on the internet. Okay. And sometimes I use his materials and sometimes I actually, frankly, just kind of make my own or kind of cobble things together. But I do follow Steve Spangler, and he has this. He does sell this apparatus as well, and he does sell the like the label free bottles of different sizes. Okay. And so he actually has where he uses lamp oil, and so that you get a colored tornado, okay, where you're able to see the color. And so I thought today I just wanted to kind of see, because we know that oil and water don't mix. I decided I would experiment with see how my experience was. I'm literally just kind of doing this live with y'all. Experiment and see if it would come out as in a way that I would like. Basically, if I used some cooking oil, which is yellow. The only thing is that, especially on camera, y'all are really having a hard time seeing it. I think the glitter gives you a better impression than, say, the oil does, because my oil does not have a strong enough tint, as well as the cloudiness that occurs because oil and water don't mix. And because of that, when you shake it, the oil and water are attempting to mix together. And so that's why you get that cloudy look. But because they don't mix together, you and also just on camera and all that type of stuff, it's hard to see that, to see what's happening. And it doesn't make the tornado look better. And it definitely doesn't depict, you're not able to really see the yellow. Okay. I'm seeing something, but you see on camera, it's not as good of an image. So anywho, depiction. So I thought that would be fun to kind of check that out and see what happens. So you see how I experiment and work with things, because I am using this tomorrow during my extreme weather and natural disaster lesson that I'll be doing with my fifth graders. I've told you all about the different groups of fifth graders that I work with. And it's important for their just information and awareness as young people in the world to know about extreme weather and to have an idea of how it comes about, how it's created, and just the impact, right? Because extreme weather impacts people, animals, and a place. It can cause damage or harm to those three things. That's the definition of extreme weather, right? It's weather that then impacts those three things or one of those three things in a negative way. Whereas a natural disaster is a natural occurring disaster. I know I'm using the word in the definition, but it is, let's pull up the definition for you. Right? Natural disasters are extreme events caused by natural phenomenon. Okay? Phenomenon or phenomena, right? Plural phenomena. Yes, I know it in my head, but out of respect for your time and my time, and also just to make sure that I disseminate correct information, I use my tools. So that's one of the final teacher tips today, right? So we've gone over all the different things that are coming up. I've talked to you about the fact that there's no club on Saturday. I've talked to you about May 3rd and May 10th and May 17th. And there's plenty of other stuff towards the end of May and going into June. Definitely make sure that you're following us to stay abreast of all that information. But also, my tip as far as being able to do the tornado in the bottle, you saw the experiment, so you may see different things online. I suggest grabbing the lowest cost version of this tornado tube that you can get. That's one tip. The other tip that kind of goes along with that is to go ahead and buy the tornado tube. Do not try to do this like without it. There is a way that you can kind of turn the bottle over, and it does kind of make a tornado a bit of a cyclone. Like you can, the kids can see that, but they really like being able to see the water empty from one bottle to the other. There's so many things that they can learn from that, not just being able to see the tornado, but then to see water moving, and you can have a lot of conversation with them about that. So that's my second tip, is to make sure you go ahead and use this. The other tip, go ahead and put some glitter into your bottles to depict the debris, because the debris in a tornado is the thing that ends up having the highest impact. After the winds have gone and after the tornado is gone, the debris situation becomes a major thing that occurs. And how tornadoes are created are things you can go into a deeper dive with your students on that. The next tip, definitely make sure that you distinguish for them the difference between extreme weather and natural disasters, the difference between climate and weather. These things they need to know for the science test, and also these things they need to know to participate in, conversation as they get older, as far as when we're talking about climate change. What's the difference and what does that mean? Because if they are not aware that weather and climate are different, which there are some students that are not, just because they haven't been taught and they haven't experienced the information that accompanies that conversation, right? You just talk to them about it. Also, certain types of extreme weather and certain types of natural disasters occur in certain parts of the world. So it's a great geography connection, and therefore social studies connection. Also talking about landforms. They need to know different types of landforms. And one of the big landforms that kids ask for models of is a volcano, right? And a volcanic eruption is a type of natural disaster, which is very different from just a volcano. A volcano can sit there and be inactive, right? And a volcano is a type of landform. So you see how there's a lot of content. That's the next tip, is just to feel free to delve into all of that content and, just have a great time with that, with them. And my final bonus tip, don't be afraid to look something up. I did it with y'all just now. Go ahead and look something up, even if you have the definition in your brain. If you can't remember, for those of us who are at various stages of life and also just doing a lot, since I do so much, my brain is always going in different directions. And so sometimes you just need a little help. Make sure that you use those tools and demonstrate that to your students. Again, my bonus tip is to make sure that you reach out for help, use your tools, throw something into Google. It will jog your memory, because those of us who have a very strong science background, I guarantee you already know what a natural disaster is, just to use the example that came up with me. But maybe you don't remember the words to use and how to frame it in a way that makes sense for children. And if we're teaching children, teacher tip, right? It's always about teaching them versus just looking smart. That's the second bonus. Don't focus on having yourself look smart. focus on transferring the information, the skills to them. All right, y'all. It's been fun. I thank you so much for watching Live with Ms. Steph. We're going to go ahead and end this. And yeah, have an absolutely wonderful day.